Emma Watson doesn't wear pins at the Golden Globes. She doesn't make viral statements on red carpets. She doesn't tweet hot takes and call it activism. Instead, she's spent the last decade doing something much harder. Actual sustained work for causes she believes in. And in the midst of Hollywood's debate about performative activism, Emma Watson is being held up as the example of how to do it right. Let's start with the basics. Emma Watson was appointed UN Women Goodwill Ambassador in 2014. She was 24 years old. Fresh off Harry Potter. One of the most famous young actresses in the world. And she could have done what most celebrities do. Show up to a couple events. Post some photos. Let the UN use her name for fundraising. But Emma didn't do that. She got to work. In September 2014, Emma gave a speech at the UN launching the HeForShe campaign. The goal was to get men and boys involved in gender equality. To make feminism about everyone, not just women. The speech went viral. Not because Emma said anything shocking, but because she spoke with intelligence and nuance about a complex issue. That speech was watched millions of times. It sparked conversations globally. And it worked. Within days, hundreds of thousands of men signed the HeForShe commitment. Eventually, over 1.2 million men pledged to be advocates. That's measurable impact. But Emma didn't stop with one speech. She kept working. She traveled to Uruguay, Bangladesh, Zambia, and other countries, meeting with activists and learning on the ground. She didn't just parachute in for photo ops. She did listening tours. She educated herself. In 2016, Emma launched a feminist book club called Our Shared Shelf. Every month she picks a book about feminism, gender, or social justice. The club has hundreds of thousands of members. They read together, discuss together, learn together. Emma uses the platform to amplify diverse voices. Emma has also worked with Time's Up Legal Defense Fund. That's the organization that helps survivors of sexual harassment access legal resources. Emma donated money. She helped raise awareness. She used her privilege to open doors. And here's what's really important. Emma has faced criticism. People have called out her feminism as white feminism. Said she doesn't center women of color or trans women enough. And Emma's response has been to listen. To learn. To adjust. She's admitted when she's made mistakes. In recent years, Emma stepped back from acting. She's barely done any films. Because she's prioritizing activism. She's working on sustainable fashion initiatives. She's an investor and advisor for Good On You, an app that rates fashion brands on ethics. She's putting her money and time into causes even when it costs her professionally. Now let's contrast Emma's approach with what we saw at the Golden Globes. Celebrities wearing pins. Making statements on red carpets. Then going back to their regular lives. That's not necessarily bad. But it's different than what Emma does. Emma doesn't do one night of activism. She does years of sustained work. The difference is expertise and commitment. Emma has spent a decade learning about gender equality. She can speak intelligently about policy. About intersectionality. Most celebrities haven't done that work. They're reacting emotionally or following their publicist's advice. Emma is operating from education. There's also the question of motivation. Emma's consistency suggests her motivation is genuine. She's been at this for over a decade. Through multiple news cycles and trends. That's commitment. The UN Women Partnership provides structure and accountability. Emma isn't just freelancing. She's working within an established organization. With goals and metrics. Most celebrity activism has no accountability. Emma has also been strategic about which issues she takes on. She focuses on gender equality and education and sustainable fashion. That's it. She doesn't try to be an expert on everything. She stays in her lane. And within that lane she goes deep. The book club is particularly smart. It creates ongoing engagement. It's not one speech or one post. It's a continuous conversation. Members read and discuss every month. That builds community. Emma's work on sustainable fashion is notable. The fashion industry has massive environmental and labor issues. Emma is using her platform and resources to promote ethical alternatives. She's not just talking. She's investing in solutions. The criticism Emma has faced about white feminism is important. Critics have said Emma centers white women's experiences. And to Emma's credit, she's responded by trying to do better. She's promoted more diverse authors. She's spoken about intersectionality. Is it enough? That's subjective. But the key thing is she's engaging with criticism instead of dismissing it. That's more than most celebrities do. There's also the question of whether Emma's approach is replicable. It requires time. Emma stepped back from acting. Most celebrities won't do that. It requires money. Emma can afford to donate and invest. It requires humility. Emma is willing to be a student. But the parts that are replicable are important. Any celebrity can choose one issue and go deep. Can build relationships with organizations. Can educate themselves. Can commit for years, not months. Those things don't require Emma Watson's specific resources. They just require genuine commitment. The timing of this conversation is perfect. Hollywood is wrestling with what activism should look like. Emma Watson represents the opposite end of the spectrum from performative activism. She says less but does more. She doesn't perform for cameras. She works when nobody's watching. And maybe that's the ultimate test. Would you still do the activism if you got no credit? Emma's work suggests she would. Because she's been doing it for a decade. The UN Women role gives Emma a platform most celebrities don't have. She can influence policy discussions. She can connect with world leaders. And she's using it for gender equality work. So what can other celebrities learn from Emma Watson? First, pick your issues carefully and commit long-term. Second, educate yourself thoroughly. Third, partner with real organizations. Fourth, measure your impact. Fifth, be willing to learn from criticism. Sixth, don't make it about yourself. And seventh, be consistent. Will other celebrities follow this model? Probably not most of them. Because Emma's approach is hard. It requires sacrifice and humility and sustained effort. It's much easier to post on Instagram or wear a pin. But Emma's approach is also high impact. The question Hollywood should be asking isn't, are celebrities doing activism? It's, are they doing activism well? Are they making a difference or just making noise? Emma Watson has answered those questions through a decade of work. Drop a comment and tell me, do you think Emma Watson is the gold standard for celebrity activism? Would you want more celebrities to follow her model? Hit subscribe, because as Hollywood continues to grapple with what activism means, we'll keep highlighting examples of people doing it right.